She noticed the moment it changed. Not because you said anything, not because you did anything dramatic or final, because something in the energy shifted. The reaching stopped, and in the silence where your pursuit used to live, she felt something she was not expecting to feel. This is for the man who has been waiting, who has been hoping, who has kept the door open longer than it deserved to stay open. Because what happens on her side of that dynamic, the moment you genuinely stop needing her to return, is something most men never understand. And understanding it changes how you carry yourself through every relationship that follows. Here is the first thing she feels, and it arrives before she can put words to it. She feels the floor for the first time. Picture this. You have been a constant in her peripheral vision, available, warm, there whenever she reached in that direction, and she has grown used to that presence the way you grow used to a light being on in a room. You stop noticing it until it goes off. The moment you stop needing her to come back, the light goes off, not in anger, not as a signal, because you have simply redirected that energy toward your own life, and she feels the absence of it with a clarity she did not have when it was present. What was ordinary becomes visible only once it is gone. And what she realizes, often quietly and without wanting to admit it, is that she had been measuring herself against a man who was always there. And now, he is not. That realization is uncomfortable in a way that comfortable never was. The second thing she feels is something she did not expect to feel about someone she was uncertain about. Respect, not the polite kind, the felt kind. The kind that arrives when you witness someone choose themselves clearly and without performance. A man who keeps reaching, who stays available past the point where the situation has stopped being reciprocal, communicates something he does not mean to. He communicates that his threshold is negotiable, that his time has no floor. She may not think these words, but she feels their equivalent. The man who stops communicates the opposite, that there was a point, that he reached it, that he valued himself enough to act from it. And that kind of self-respect, witnessed rather than declared, is one of the most compelling things a woman can encounter in a man she had taken for granted. There is a video on this channel that goes directly into this. Why women deeply respect the man who stops chasing her covers exactly what is shifting in her at the level she cannot always articulate. I will link it at the end. The third thing she feels is the one that surprises her most. She feels curious about you in a way she was not when you were present. Pursuit collapses mystery. A man who is always available, always warm, always reaching, becomes something she already knows the shape of. There is nothing left to discover, and without discovery, there is no pull. When you stop, the shape changes. She no longer knows exactly where you are or what you are building or who you are becoming without her as the reference point. And that uncertainty, the kind she created in you while you were waiting, now lives on her side of the dynamic. She starts to wonder. And wondering is where attraction rebuilds, when it rebuilds at all. The fourth thing she feels is the hardest for her to sit with. She feels the weight of what she did not choose when she had the chance. Not every woman reaches this. But the ones who felt something real, who kept you close without committing, who enjoyed the warmth without stepping toward it, those women feel the particular discomfort of a door closing that they left open by choice. It is not grief exactly. It is the specific regret of someone who waited too long to decide and arrived to find the decision had been made without them. You did not make it to create that feeling. You made it because continuing cost you more than it gave you. But the feeling arrives in her regardless, and it tells her something true about what she had. Here is what ties all four of these things together. None of them are things you can manufacture. The man who stops pursuing to create these feelings will not create them, because the energy underneath calculated withdrawal is still pursuit. She feels the difference between a man who is genuinely free and a man who is performing freedom. One produces all four of these responses. The other produces nothing except distance. The only version of this that works is the real one. The man who arrives at genuine acceptance, who redirects his attention toward his own life, not as a move, but as a necessity. who stops needing her to return because he has found, slowly and honestly, that he is already enough without her answer. That man does not need to understand what she feels in his absence. He is too busy building something worth coming back to. If this gave you something real, this video is the natural next step. It goes into how a grounded man moves through the emotional stages of letting go, starting from exactly where you are now. It is on screen now. I will see you there.